you're going to have those fights. You had them where, goddamn, going in, I know I've got to weather the storm. I've got to get through this first round. This guy is explosive. He's athletic and he's dynamic. And you know what? I'm probably going to lose this first round. That's okay. I just need to make him work and set up little things that are going to build me into the second round. And that's what Glover did. He took some big shots. He took some hard shots. But damn, you got to love the head movement of Glover. You got to love, at the age of 40, all of that movement, everything he's doing. And man, when he sets his feet, he can still swat, man. He's got freaking power in his hands. And I was really impressed with Anthony when, Glover was he loves the arm triangle. He was trying to set up the arm triangle a couple of times. Anthony was on his back. He did good, but it was fatigue that started to get to Anthony Smith. The one punch, it hurt him, but fatigue was the thing that he couldn't stop. And that output that Anthony was, having in that first round, dude, he was throwing a lot of shots, a lot of kicks. There was a lot of output coming from him. And I think it was a little too much. It gassed him a little.
Yeah. How much of the commentary did you listen to?
Not much.
Okay, so the commentary with DC, and DC, I don't like to give him a lot of props because he's already got a big enough head. He's one of my closest friends, and I just like to give him a hard time.
Well, he needs a big head because it's going with the rest of his body now, because he is definitely fitting the role of the heavyweight.
Yeah, he can barely fit into his fitted suits and shirts now. Look, he had some good commentary tonight, and I think a lot of it had to do with the corner of Anthony Smith. They were barking orders and they never stopped. And as a corner, when you're doing that and your fighters normally pays attention, look, I know the fighter dictates what goes on in that cage. And if they want to do it, they're going to do it. But if they were on go, there was never a moment where the corner had stopped talking. You could hear them the whole time. And he's like, hey, push kick, long jab, push kick, long jab. They just kept going and going.
Well, he was following with that because that's what I was seeing, man.
And he had a lot of success in that first round. He even had some success in the beginning of the second round. But you could tell that he started slowing down a little bit, and he also didn't like the pressure of Glover Teixeira. When Glover had pushed his back to the fence, that's when it started progressively going downhill. And once his back was the fence, he tried doing the push kick, and his back was leaning back. He was leaning back into the fence. His hands were not up when he was doing it. That was opening up his chin. Not that he got hit a whole lot clean in that position, but it opened up other things right from there. So when you push kick and lean back and put your back against the fence, chin's in the air. Even if he doesn't land anything to the head, he comes right down low to the body, and Glover does some good body work and that good uppercut. And that's what kind of was the ultimate downfall later, like as the fight was progressing. He was just staying tighter with his defense. Glover was. He was fighting composed and relaxed. And not that Krause is not a good corner. The sign to me of a good corner is they're not barking orders all the time. They're barking orders of when they need something to be done. Hey,
you're saying that James Krause is barking out, because I saw James in his corner, but Greg Montoya was the guy that I saw going to
Krause was in the corner. Krause was the one in the corner. It sounded like him doing all what DC was saying as well, was he was the one continuously barking orders out of. And that's normally like, look, if you're I guess I was always told this is, especially when we're as an analyst and we're cage side calling a fight. If you're always at an 11, when something exciting happens,
yeah, there's nowhere to go. And if you're always at an 11 when you're cornering your guy, they don't understand what the sense of urgency is. So like, hey, I need you to get out of there. I need you to get out of there. That means that you're in a lot of trouble when I'm yelling at you like that. Yeah.
But otherwise, keep doing what you're doing. Okay, sticking the jab. Great job. Silence for a while. Let him do his work. Okay, yep. And then get back to, let's
let him be.
Let's start maybe working on the leg kicks after the jab. Let's start setting other things up. Signs of a good corner is not when you're continuously giving your guys things to think about. Sure, in their mind, like, hey, keep the jab going. Cool. Keep the right hand going. Good. I think that had a little bit of potential of the downfall. I think a lot of it also is no crowd, which means you can hear crystal clear what your corner is saying. And if they're at 11 the whole time and you're pushing the action, and it just showed as the round went on at the end of the second round, he just hit a little bit of a stump right there. It just slowed his pace slowed down, and Glover was already relaxed and composed and was able to push the pace and was able to put his back to the fence, and then that's where he did his work. Just true experience from someone like Glover, man. You can talk about his age. He just fought a very nice, calm, composed fight and looked phenomenal as the fight carried on. And the last place you want to be with that guy is on the bottom of him. I'm sorry, but his like you said, his side choker arm triangle is phenomenal. His top position, you can tell he's got heavy hips. When he gets down on top of you and he likes to put the hooks in, you're carrying all of his weight. And I think the signs of Anthony Smith, and I've seen the signs of a lot of guys that are in the upper echelon, they haven't quite found out the times when you should rest. Anthony Smith rested in a lot of very bad very bad times. Okay. And in positions where there was really nowhere to go. Those are not positions that you rest in. Those are positions that you try to continuously try to get up and try to get to at least a little bit better of a position. And I know he was hurt, injured, rocked. He got hit, with some clean shots. But those are things in your corner. Hey, you got to get to a position where you're not able to take as much damage. Being on your hands and knees and on all fours, that is not a good position. Not at all. You need to focus to get into a side control, focus to getting back to a guard position, something where you have a little bit of offense. You have no offense from that position. And I didn't really see any of that effort. And he took a lot of shots in the position he didn't need to.
Oh, come on. I thought Anthony won the first 2 rounds. That third round, easy 10-8. In fact, John Anik, I heard, called it a 10-8. But a lot of people are saying, that might be a 10-7 because it was getting close to it. It was an overwhelming round. He took a ton of damage. There was multiple shots, multiple knockdowns. It was getting close if it wasn't. So 10-8 there and 10-8 again in the next round, fourth. I was kind of surprised as you look at the end of the fight, going into the fifth. Man, as the corner, you got to look at your guy. And
I was going to ask you
that. You got to look at body language. You got to look at what he's saying. You got to look at his demeanor. Is he looking at you in the eyes? I always look for fighters if they sit on the stool and their cornerman was in front and they just had their ass handed to them in a fight. I always look to see, where does the fighter's eyes go? Yeah. Because when a fighter's still engaged in the fight, he looks for his trainer and he looks at his trainer, or she looks at her trainer. When a fighter has decided, I just don't have it tonight, I'm just not, I can't beat this person, they start to take their eyes and they start to look down. They start to look at a place that it's not going to do them any good, but you can tell that their mind is getting disconnected from what's going on. And, you're looking at that and it's, sometimes you got to save a guy from himself. Anthony's not going to quit, and sometimes we say, sometimes you have to save the fighter, not from their opponent, but from themselves.
Yep.
And even as the corner, you got to look and say, is it worth me putting my guy back out there? Do they really, from what I've seen, have a chance of pulling this fight back, of getting it back, of winning? And you got to look at it from what I was seeing after those last 2 rounds. Anthony was done going into that 5th round.
100% agree. Okay.